Alright, this is just going to be a quick walkthrough of the YuXin corner helicopter 2x2. As you all know, I'm not really a non-WCA specialist, but I got this recently and I think it's a really cool puzzle, so I just wanted to show you how to solve it. Be prepared for bad production value, most likely bad explanations, but hopefully it'll be helpful anyway. So I start by solving it like a 2x2. This will make the rest of the solve a little bit less efficient because you'll have to undo and redo some setup moves, but I think the improved recognition is worth it. So now that the inner 2x2 is solved, I'm going to start with these edge pieces. I'm going to start with this red-white, which goes here. So I'm just going to bring it up, twist it around, back down, and undo the setup. Now I have these two blue ones, so I'm gonna solve this one first, flip it around, and you can think of them sort of like 4x4 centers when you have one of them solved and the other not. So rather than doing this to pair them, you have to line them up, replace the solved one with the unsolved one, twist it around, and bring it back down. Here is yellow-orange, yellow-red, so I'll do an L2 for the setup for this one. And now I have this red-orange pair, so replace this with this, flip it, bring it back down. And I have this orange and this one over here. Looks like the two green whites are here, so I'll solve the first one by bringing it up, moving it around, back down, and then I'll do an F2 because now they line up like this. And now we're back to a solved 2x2. Now I have red and blue. One of them is solved and the other is here. But as you can see, the piece where it needs to go is on the same corner as where it already is. So I can't get it here right now because it's already connected to this piece. So in order to fix that, I'm just going to rotate it around like this. And now it's on this corner instead of this one. So I can move this corner opposite, or sorry, this spot opposite, and then bring this up, and now they're lined up. So I'll replace that with this, bring it back down, and undo setup. Next I'll do red-yellow right here. Looks like I need to flip this so they line up. Now I have red-yellow. This is a similar situation before. This one needs to go here and it's on the same piece, so I need to move it out of the way first. Move this opposite of this one, bring it up, flip, and back down. This goes here, so I can move this opposite of this one like this. I have the other blue-yellow here, so it needs to go to this piece and it's already connected to it, so flip first. Now the spot where it goes is opposite. This goes here, so move it out of the way, flip, back. This goes here, so move it opposite, flip, back down. It looks like this goes, no, this one is solved. This one needs to go here. So Since they do line up, I'll just do an R2, flip, R2, and it looks like the last two are here. So line them up, flip, down. That was not quite right. So these go here. So I just have to swap these two sets. Now they're both opposite, so up, flip, down. And there is a bit of a weird case where the last two pairs that need to swap are here and here. To fix that, you can do R2, U, R2, and then move whichever side is still opposite where the piece is, swap it in that direction. So if the piece that went here was over here, you do this way. And that will mess up a couple of other pieces, but it should also allow you to fix it using easier cycles after that. And then undo the setup with R2, U prime, R2. This step isn't really necessary, but again, just to help with recognition, I flip all of these to the right orientation when I get here. Corners are a little bit trickier, but they're still not too bad. So this one is flipped, so I can move it out of the way, flip this, and then pair it like that, flip back, and solve this. It also might be helpful to solve all of the corners first, and then just make sure every time you turn one, you turn it back to keep them oriented correctly. But to fix this one without messing up this piece, I can flip it, so there's an empty one here, fix that, flip back. I have blue, white here. If I do this, it'll be oriented wrong, so flip first, move it up, flip back, move back down. For something like this, where this piece needs to go opposite of where it is, I use a bit of trial and error here, but I'm gonna start by putting an empty spot here, and I'm not sure yet if this is oriented correctly or not. That's something that could be figured out with more solves, but I haven't quite figured out recognition yet. So I'm gonna move corners down on both sides, do this, and put it back. And as you can see, it's flipped. So that means before I do this last move, I need to flip this one. And now I can fix both corners. And now this piece is flipped, so put an empty space where the piece was, flip, back down, flip. This is a similar case. I need to get this over here, and these two actually need to swap places. So this is a bit of a nicer case. So move both down, swap them, move both back up. And since this one is flipped, I can flip it by putting an empty piece here. Flip, back down, flip. This piece needs to go here, so I'm gonna bring a corner that connects to this up, bring this down, swap them, and fix. And since this is flipped, I'm gonna fix this one first. And then I have this to fix, but both of these spots are already occupied. So I can't easily flip this edge on this side without unsolving another piece. So to do that, I can flip it first, and this corner has empty spots. So I'll replace the flipped edge, spin it around, bring it back. This one needs to go over here. So both down, spin, both back up. And now I have both of these flipped. So I can, luckily both of these corners have an empty slot. So I can do that, spin this around and fix them here. I'm going to solve this piece next. So bring these down, swap them, and once again, this ended up flipped, but both of these corners have an empty spot. Now I'm going to swap this with this, or this could go either of these positions. So move the corners like this, and I can see this is going to be flipped, but now I don't have a space to flip this. So I'm going to undo that, and then start by flipping this piece, because now this one will end up here, and it'll be oriented correctly. So move the corners so these are in position to swap. And I have this. Now this is flipped, but there's an empty space here. So I can once again flip this piece using this as a keyhole. This is a pretty nice case where both of these go here, so I'll do this one first. Move this over, and now I know that this one has to be in the right orientation to go here because the other one's already solved. But I want to make it so that when I solve the piece, I will be able to reorient this corner. So I'll turn it like this first, do that, and then there. This piece goes here, so I'll flip this first, move the corners down, swap, put it back. I'm going to put this one here. And now this piece is flipped relative to this one, but I see there's an empty spot on this side. So I'll flip it down, replace it with the empty piece, around, back up, and fix this. Now I have this piece, so I can move it here, and then this is oriented correctly, move it around, back up. Similar thing here, this one, because of its orientation, needs to go there. If I just do this, it's backwards. So I have an empty space here, so I'll move it over, solve this, move it back, fix this. This piece goes here, so move both corners down, swap, back up. And now this one needs to go here, and this goes here. So I will start by, I need to think about this one. I think I would start here because that needs to go there, flip this, and then I can flip this one and solve this one by moving this down to put an empty space here, bring this over, and bring that back. So once you get to about here, none of the pieces that need to cycle are particularly close, so you might need to start doing setup moves to put them in the same cycle. So for this one, I can see that this piece goes here, this one goes here. I don't think I can solve them at the same time, but I'll start with the green-white. So move these down, put this one solved relative to the corner, and bring it back up. Now once you start doing setup moves, it becomes more important to make sure that these end up flipped the same direction as they started. So right now this one's backwards, so if I fix it, this is going to be wrong. And I need this piece to end up here. So I'll move it out of the way, down, over, up, over, and now this remains solved. And I think it also solved one of these. I'm not exactly sure which one. So now we only have one more 3 cycle. This goes here, this goes here, this goes here. So I'm going to start with this one, move this up, this down, swap these, and then this one needs to go here. So I'm going to move it over like this, move this down, put this where it goes, fix this, and then moving this corner down to replace this will basically solve the puzzle. So line this up, bring this back around, and fix the last corner. So sorry if that was kind of rambly, but I hope there was at least enough there to be some sort of guide to solve it. Thanks for watching.